Hello friends, welcome to Apex Chess Academy. And yes, you have already seen the thumbnail. So basically the topic is, can you outplay the Magnus Carlsen like this? Actually, we know that Magnus Carlsen is a very well known person, the world champion, and who is basically used to outplay his opponent in almost in every game. But it was a quite old game in year 2006, where Magnus Carlsen was not 2800 but not less as well. So his rating was 2675 in this particular game, and where black was Beliavsky Alexander, who was playing with the black pieces, and he has just outplayed his opponent Magnus Carlsen. So let's go through the game. But before we go through the game, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click on the notification bell to get the notification for my future upcoming videos as well. Let's go through the game. Okay, it's e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, a6, bishop a4, knight f6. So it start with the Ruy Lopez, and after castle, bishop e7. Rather than going with the main stuff with the rookie one, here Carlsen choose the move d3, which is known as the closed Ruy Lopez or the closed Spanish with the sixth d3 move. Okay, here after d6, c3, castle, knight b d2, knight d7. This is all the main lines, so I'm not going into much detail because our main topic is especially middle game purpose. So I'm just going a little bit quick. After end this on, bishop c2, bishop f6, knight c4, knight e7, knight e3, g6, d4, bishop g7. So this is the first point where I would say that try to pause the video and find out the best move as a white. Although we are going to see the whole game as black after few moves, so I'm not going to flip the board, but you try to find out the best move as white. And whenever I'm trying to say you that try to find out the move, that means you should pause the video, and if you have the board, which is very good, try to put the sewing position on the board and try to find out the best move. So here uh, if white is going for the move d5, for example, then white is basically closing the center, and when the center is closed, this pawn chain, black's pawn chain, is going towards the king side now. So normally here first black will play a5, and then his intention is to play h6 and f5 with some queen side initiative. But okay, it's a different game. But normally, I, I would personally prefer then whenever black is attacking on a flank side, you should break the center. So here we are anticipating that if you are playing d5, black will play f5. So which basically closes the center. So if black wants to open his bishop on g7, he has to play f5 sooner or later, and that's why here white should react with d into e5 rather than d5. So basically d into e5 opens at least a d file, so that whenever black plays f5, he has some difficult task because already d file is open. So d into e5, black played knight into e5, knight into e5, and now here if black takes on e5 with the bishop, try to keep his bishop open, but then white can choose the move in fact f4, and after bishop g7, f5. So here white has some initiative because f6 is also a threat, and that's why on move number 14, rather than taking with a bishop, black took with pawn, and now the bishop on g7 looks closed, and now Carlsen chose the move bishop b3, improving his bishop because it was stuck behind its e4 pawn. So bishop b3, now improving his first piece. Now bishop d7. After bishop d7, basically okay, this move will be very useful. Now why bishop d7 is very useful? Because whenever black goes for the move bishop c6, Okay, I mean you can do the same thing with the move b5 as well, but after b5 and bishop b7, you're attacking the e4 pawn with the same motif. But here, this b5 move, in fact, loses the control over the c5 and the c6 square, and that's why instead of playing b5, I would advise you to play the move bishop d7, which is basically keeps your pawn structure compact, so that no one can attack it easily and you're not losing control over any squares, so which is very important. Remember the topic when to push your pawns, basically, which is very ideal. And I've covered the topic when to push your king side pawns, so which is a separate topic. But even by push, I mean, if you are pushing any pawn, you need to focus on the squares which you are basically lose the control. So instead of going for b5, bishop d7 does the same thing without losing control over any squares. Okay, now Carlsen chooses the move knight g4, and his intention was knight h6. But we'll see that after few moves, basically this move looks basically dubious, because well, knight g4 looks very aggressive because next move is knight h6, and after the king h8, because now after knight h6 check, knight f7 is hanging. So black played a very beautiful move, king h8, so just removing his king from the dangerous diagonal. And now whenever knight h6 comes, now how to defend this f7 pawn? So there are two ways, either queen e8 or bishop e8. So what do you feel, which is the accurate move? Okay, so the player who has played queen e8, which is of course bad, because now after taking everything on f7, the d7 bishop is hanging. Say after knight f7, rook f7, bishop f7, queen into d7. So 17th queen e8 is bad, and that's why Beliavsky choose the move bishop e8, which is the correct one. And now queen f3, and which looks ideal because it put pressure on f7. And from here I would just advise you to try to guess all the moves that black has played. Okay, so from here just try to find out the best move as black, and how you can basically improve your pieces here, because all black's pieces looks very passive, and this position looks very ideal for white, because white has a very strong knight on h6. Well, it looks strong, but it's not doing anything, so I would just call it as a paper tiger, right? So knight on h6 is not doing anything. Yeah, okay, it looks like it's attacking, but it's not doing anything, so it will be clear very soon to you. Okay, so here f7, after queen f3, f7 is still under pressure, but in fact black can simply avoid this threat, and knight f7 looks a threat, but it is not. So let's say after the move knight c8, now I would say that this is the really fantastic move, because in whole white's camp, basically e4 is the only pawn which is weak and that you can target. And how he started with the move knight c8, and immediately we are just putting pressure on e4, and not only we are just putting the pressure on e4, but in fact this h6 knight, which was looking very stable, but in fact after knight c8 the threat is queen h4 as well, and that knight is not going anywhere. And here knight f7 or bishop f7 is also not possible, because after knight into f7, here just we can take on f7 with the bishop, and after bishop into f7 we can just put knight d6, and bishop on f7 is just gone. So knight f7 is not possible, and even on move number 19, bishop f7 is also not possible because of bishop into h6, and after bishop into h6, rook into f7, and still one apiece. That means f7 pawn basically is not at all under pressure, and that's why black played knight c8 here. And now queen h4 is also a threat, so Carlsen played queen g3 in order to stop queen h4. But now knight d6, so f7 is firmly defended, e4 is under pressure. Now Carlsen defended the e4 with the move rook e1, and now bishop c6. So by this maneuvering, in fact, Black has improved two pieces, knight on d6 and bishop on c6. Before few moves it was looks, I mean, excuse me, both pieces looks very passive, but now you see that both pieces are attacking the e4 pawn, and now Carlsen was forced to play c6. Okay, bishop d5 was possible, but it leads to the similar kind of structure in game what black has achieved. But in fact, after bishop d5, even black can think about bishop into d5, e d5, and f5. Where after next move e4, then knight c4, knight d5, and knight d3. So d3 square will be available for black. So bishop d5 is not advisable, and that's why Carlsen choose the move f3 on move number 21. So after f3, again try to pause the video and try to find out which is the best move as black. Okay, so it looks like that black should play f5. But remember one thing, when to open the center, when you are fully developed. Okay, for example, imagine one situation where there is one door in between two rooms. Okay, and chess is nothing but the war again. So just I'm taking this example because now if there is one door, and if there are, say, in one room the capacity of 10 people is there, in second room there's the capacity of 3 people is there. So when to open the door if you want to start fighting? So the player who has space advantage should uh, maneuver all the pieces in that room. For example, if all 10 are there, then only you should open the center, right? Here in black's camp, if you try to open this position with the move f5, white pieces looks more coordinated. So what I would advise, just play the move queen e7, then rook a8, just maneuver all the pieces behind this pawns, and then only think about the move f5, right? So here Beliavsky played queen e7, not hurrying with the move f5. Now knight g4, and now you see after maneuvering this knight from e3 to g4 to h6, now Carlsen regret this maneuvering and now coming back with the move knight g4, because that knight uh, is rather than liability rather than a strength here. So basically it looks like an asset, but it's a liability. So here Carlsen just bring it back. So of course now it looks like a paper tiger, right? So now knight g4, rook e8, and now knight e3, and finally the knight comes back to the e3, and white has wasted lots of moves by maneuvering this knight once again. And now after say knight e3, again try to pause the video and find out the best move. So is it the best time to play f5? Yes, so now f5 is the best time to play. So here black should play f5. Now f4 is a threat. And again, okay, if you are playing this position from the white point of view, what do you feel which is the ideal move? So again, try to find out the best move as white as well. Yeah, so here the correct move is, I would say, ef5, and after gf5, knight d5. Probably this is the best idea to play as white. Now why? Because say first of all with the move ef5, what white is achieving? White is improving the prospects of this rook, right? And after say gf5, knight d5, we are immediately attacking the queen, and just white can put pressure on these two pawns in future. So I would say that this is the ideal way to play as white. But on move number 24, instead of e d5, white choose the move knight d5, and I would say this is a slightly dubious move, knight d5. And now after queen d7, okay, so basically after queen d7, black is attacking the e4 pawns once again, and that's why Carlsen has defended the pawn with the move queen h4. And this is the final moment that I would say that a beautiful move was played by Beliavsky. And here I would advise you to think for a while. You can just pause the video for even 5 to 10 minutes, and this is the most crucial move of the whole game, in fact. So you can just pause the video until you get your answer, because this is really a beautiful move, and you'll really simply love to find this move. And if you are able to find, you'll really feeling very proud on you. Okay, so here it's a black to play, and here what black did. Black's two pieces, especially the bishop on g7 and the rook on f8, looks very silly here. And here Beliavsky found a beautiful way to improve both pieces. What he did, he just first took on e4 with the f pawn. Okay, so okay, some of you might think about the move f4, and it looks like okay, black is attacking, but in fact, black is closing his own bishop on g7, and it looks very difficult to find out any good square for this bishop. You may argue that you are closing the c1 bishop as well, but in fact, the c1 bishop may find the square on b2 in future after c4 bishop move, and then b4 bishop b2. But this bishop on g7 looks very silly. So instead of going for this f4 move, Beliavsky played the move fe4. So by playing this fe4 move, what he did, he improved his rook on f8 by playing fe4. So the first thing he did is improved his rook by playing fe4. And remember the concept, excuse me, state of the pieces. So any piece has normally three state, like a human. It's attacking, defensive, or passive. Same way, the rook on f8 was passive, but by playing fe4, now it becomes active, right? So after fe4, now again, it was just the first phase was over. He has improved his rook. But what about the bishop? Again, you just pause the video and find out the best move as black. How to improve the bishop now? Yeah, so he found a beautiful move, bishop into d5. And actually, in fact, he is giving the bishop pair. But remember the thing that this inclusion of these two central pawns, e5 and e4. Basically, this is a very unique thing, and whenever I just show you the concept of bishop pair in our upcoming videos, you'll understand that the inclusion of these two pawns, e4 and e5, this bishop d5 move is good. If these two pawns are not in the center, bishop d5 is bad, because of course then your bishop on g7 is also improved. So there is no point to go for this move. While here after bishop into d5, and now black played the move bishop f6. What is the point? Yeah, so if you have find out this move, it's really good, because the next move is c6 and bishop to d8, and then bishop comes to b6, and it's improved. Yes, so after bishop f6, queen g3. Okay, if white goes for bishop g5, then I would say that it is good for black, because this central pawn e5 improves the control over the move over the square f5. So basically this I mean, yet this bishop is bad, right, on f6. So bishop g5 simply allows bishop into g5, queen into g5, c6. This bishop moves, and then queen d8. Remember the concept, one bad exchange risk. So basically here we are eliminating the queens as well, and this knight is totally dominating the whole board, especially on the dark square. So white is struggling to find the equality after queen d8. But instead of bishop g5 on move number 28, white played the move queen g3. And now black continues his plan with the move c6, bishop b3, and now bishop d8. And I already told you in my past videos that whenever you are playing any piece on a first rank or the second rank, or we can say in reverse on a 7th rank or the 8th rank, which is a sign of maneuvering. And now here we can easily identify the maneuvering of bishop d8 and the move bishop b6. So now queen d3 and bishop b6 check. And once again, exchanging the dark square bishop favors black, again thanks to e4 and e5 central pawns, which simply blocks his b3 bishop in future. So and increase the control over the dark square. So after bishop b6 check, bishop e3 is again out of question because of queen c7. And if bishop b6, queen into b6 check, king h1, and then rook d8, with the idea of rook f4 in upcoming moves, and bishop b3 looks very silly, right? So and black has managed to exchange the bishop pair as well. So after bishop b6 check, rather than going for the move bishop e3, Carlsen went for king h1, and now white's threat is rd1. Okay, and it looks like everything is fine for white, but again just pause the video and find out the best move as black. Yes, so Beliavsky found another beautiful move. So blow after blow. I mean, lots of good moves by black. And here black played the move queen g4. And yes, it looks like d6 knight is hanging, but in fact, queen d6 is not possible. Can you see why? If you are not think about this move, queen d6 move, and if you are not found even queen g4, and maybe due to queen d6, but now again just pause the video and find out this move. So after queen d6, rook f2, and what to do after rook g1, and boom, queen into g2. So after rook into g2, just check, and after rook g1, it's a mate after rook g1, right? So queen d6 on move number 32 is not possible. So after queen g4, it is forced for white to play bishop e3, and black succeed to forcing white to exchange this bishop. Otherwise, rook f2 is anyhow a threat. And when the rook is achieving the second rank or the seventh rank, then it is of course very ideal. And that's why here white is forced to play bishop e3, and white is succeed to eliminate the bishop pair, plus especially the dark square bishop, which improves the control over the f4. So bishop into e3. Now rook into e3 allows rook f2, and say if queen into e3. Now again just pause the video and find out the best move. Yes, so which is the weakest spot in white's camp? e4 pawn. Yes, so black played rook f4 and increasing the pressure on e4 pawn. And here white played bishop d1. So basically Carlsen wants to defend his e4 pawn with the move bishop f3 and try to close the f file as well. So he's want to do basically to stop the counterplay with the move bishop f3. But in fact, even if white achieves the move bishop f3, his bishop on f3 looks very bad. In fact, it's just doing the same thing what white's pawn will do on f3. So after bishop d1, now white played queen g5, and the immediate threat is rook f1 check. And here it looks like after bishop f3, all the threats was stopped, but bishop f3 was not played in the game. But why? So again try to find out the best move as black. Here black can meet this bishop f3 move with the tactics knight into f3, and the point is queen into e4 is not possible, and after bishop into e4, again boom, rook f1 check. After rook f1, queen into e3 wins the queen. And that's why on move number 35, bishop f3 was not possible. Again, remember why I am saying move number. It helps the blind player to recognize and just rearrange the board. Okay, so after queen g5, bishop f3 was not possible, and on move number 35, white played queen d3. And now how to improve? Yes, but now bishop f3 is not possible. That means the rook has the accessibility on 7th rank or the 2nd rank, I would say. So rook f2, attacking the g2 pawn, and once again white has no time to take on d6. So bishop f3 was played. If rook g1, then still black can play rook d2, taking the queen and defending the knight at the same time. And if bishop f3, bishop has successfully defended e4 and g2. And what it cost? It looks like a pawn on f3, right? So rook d2, queen f1, and now you see on move number 27, after queen f1, black has just dominated the whole board. The rook is on a second rank, queen is ideal on a dark square on a g5, and winning a pawn on b2. While we have seen the position after say move number 17 or 18, where all white pieces was just dominating the whole board. Well, was queen was on f3, knight was on h6, bishop was on b3, and black's all pieces are just on a 8th rank. And now the situation is very clear, and basically black has just outplayed Magnus Carlsen in this position, and black has achieved rook on d2, queen on g5, knight on d6, and here black played rook into b2, who wins the first pawn. And after rook a d8, rook d8, now Carlsen played c4, which is of course a pure desperation, because it weakens the c4 square as well. Another dark square is weak, and now Beliavsky played king g7. Very cool move, in fact. Now queen d3 and now knight f7, attacking the queen, queen a3, and now another rook joins the party with rook d2, rook d2, in fact. So after rook into d2, queen into d2, total domination on 7th rank. Now rook d1, and now rook a2, winning another pawn. So now black is 2 pawns up. After queen e7, queen c3. So remember one thing: whenever you are material up, exchange pieces. So now exchange, if you are able to exchange the rooks here, all the counter play is almost finished, because white is left with a bad bishop and 2 pawns down. So after queen c3, white tried h4, only aggressive stuff, because h5 is the only way to generate counterplay. But even after h4, rook a1, exchanging the rooks, rook a1, queen a1 check, king h2, and now b5, pushing your pawns where you have majority. Now c5, queen c1, attacking the c5 and preparing queen f4. And the remaining stuff is not that difficult, so I'm just going through the quick going through the game very quickly. After queen c1, h5, b4, bishop g4, queen f4 check, king h3, and king h6 with the threat of knight g5 check, queen f8 check, king g5, queen e7 check, queen f6, queen d7, again king h6 with the threat of knight g5, h6, h6, queen d2 check, and now queen f4. And again, exchange the queen is losing, and if you are not exchanging the queens, then knight g5 check is a threat. Right, so it was a really beautiful game, one of my favorite game, where Beliavsky found a beautiful way to improve all his pieces, and I mean, this is too good to outplay a player who has the caliber of world champion. And of course, after few years, Carlsen became a world champion. And even in this game, where Magnus Carlsen was 2675 and Beliavsky was 2625, so outplaying opponent like this is not an easy task. So hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I would say, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to get the notification in future as well. Thank you, friends. Thank you very much.